The year is 2030. You're in a sleek pod-like capsule that's levitating inside a low-pressure steel tube and traveling at speeds of over 600 miles per hour across the country. This is Hyperloop, the futuristic transportation system proposed by controversial US entrepreneur Elon Musk, which is based on 100-year-old principles that have been updated for the 21st century. Advocates claim the technology is more environmentally friendly than airplanes and substantially faster than high-speed trains. But is Hyperloop a feasible future mode of transportation? And can the challenges involved in making it a reality be overcome? In other words, would we ever be able to ride in one of these high-tech vehicles? In today's video, we will be taking a deep dive into what Hyperloop is, and if we can still expect it. Say hello to the future of high-speed transportation. It's 3.5 times quicker than the Shinkansen bullet trains in Japan, and even faster than a Boeing 747. It's a Hyperloop. Magnetic pods levitating inside a tube at speeds of above 600 miles per hour. In principle, you could go from San Francisco to Los Angeles in 45 minutes for less than $100 one way. With a successful human test trip in November of 2020, we could be less than 10 years away from seeing it in action. Vacuum tube transit systems have been around for a surprising amount of time as a concept for quick transportation. Isambard Kingdom Brunel, a British engineer and the Elon Musk of his time, suggested building a tube in southwest England in 1845 that would move trains at a dizzying 70 miles per hour. Brunel's plan was abandoned after the project became impractical due to a shortage of materials that could support it. Despite Brunel's efforts, it took more than a century for SpaceX and Tesla's CEO, Elon Musk, to turn the world's attention back to the tubular transit technology. The concept of Hyperloop became widely popular in 2013, thanks to Elon Musk's 58-page Hyperloop Alpha paper, which set out how a modern system would work and how much it would cost. He argued that his Hyperloop could be faster, safer, and more affordable, and less disruptive to the people living along the route. Musk said that the service could be the answer to travel between cities less than about 900 miles or 1,500 kilometers apart. But how does the whole concept of a train in a tube work? Well, at its core, the Hyperloop technology is all about removing two things that slow down regular vehicles: air resistance and friction. To do away with the latter, the pod must hover above its track, turning Hyperloop into a magnetic levitation, or a maglev train. Maglev is basically what allows Hyperloop to go incredibly fast. To put it in the simplest of terms, maglev trains have two sets of magnets, one to move the floating train ahead, and another to repel and push the train up off the track, taking advantage of the lack of friction. The lack of friction between the passenger carrying pods and the tube-shaped track is basically what allows the Hyperloop to travel super fast. One of the most energy-intensive aspects of high-speed transport is overcoming air resistance. Airliners go to higher altitudes in order to pass through less dense air. To achieve a similar effect at ground level, Hyperloop encloses the capsules in a reduced pressure tube, effectively allowing the trains to move at plane speeds while staying on the ground. So now that we're all caught up to speed about what Hyperloop system is, let's take a look to see where Musk's project stands at the moment. Despite doing much to lay the foundation for the Hyperloop system, Musk initially said that he was too busy to develop his own service. There are now a number of companies working to turn the idea into reality, including startups and others who have been working on the idea for some time already. Among them are Transpod, Arrivio, HGT, and Virgin Hyperloop One. Each is working on a somewhat different set of technologies, but the overall concept is the same. Virgin Hyperloop was founded in 2014 with the goal of bringing Musk's vision of a futuristic transportation system a reality. The company has made a significant technical change to Musk's first design and has chosen not to pursue the Los Angeles to San Francisco route the billionaire envisioned. But not all of Musk's ideas were scrapped. Virgin still wants to keep the futuristic vehicle environmentally friendly, with vegan leather seats and some of the pod materials made from recycled content. Today, Virgin is the first company in the world that has tested the technology with passengers riding in its pod. In 2017, Virgin Hyperloop tested the technology with two groups of passengers riding in its Pegasus pod on its DevLoop test track in the Nevada desert. It attained a top speed of 240 miles per hour, so commercialization is just around the corner. The Virgin Hyperloop will travel at nearly 700 miles per hour across the land, slashing travel times and connecting cities like metro stations. It's a carbon-free, affordable, and environmentally friendly system designed for all. But what about Musk? Despite saying he was too busy, Musk still remained intrigued by the idea of Hyperloop. In December of 2016, he tweeted, "Traffic is driving me nuts. I'm going to build a tunnel boring machine and just start digging." And just like that, the Boring Company was born, and in 6 months, the SpaceX parking lot in Hawthorne, California was being dug. He initially founded the company with the idea of building a future of vast transportation by building massive underground tunnels to whisk drivers out of traffic through loops. The loop is a transportation system in which passengers in a standard Tesla are driven from station to station in narrow tunnels. The Boring Company offers rides in Teslas to hundreds of people a day for $5 to $8 per person. The same ride in an Uber would cost about $10 per trip. Now that's a steal. Earlier this year, the company opened its first 1.7-mile loop in Las Vegas. To be exact, the Boring Company has only built 3 tunnels, a test tunnel in Los Angeles and 2.8-mile tunnels underneath the Las Vegas Convention Center. Musk was able to complete the construction in Las Vegas in roughly a year for a total cost of more than $50 million, and now there are plans to extend the system through more of the state. The city of Fort Lauderdale is the latest market considering a Boring Company loop and will become the 4th location to join Musk's vision for faster subterranean travel. In these cities, Musk promised a super-fast, automated driving system, which would eliminate traffic and allow passengers to get to work in record time. But many were disappointed by the reveal. Instead of the futuristic cars zipping people from one location to the next, they remain ordinary tunnels with regular cars at regular speeds. A fleet of Tesla Model X and 3 cars driven by humans take people just 35 miles per hour to various stops. But you have to admit, the lighting is quite colorful and flashy. It is unclear if the system will ever develop into anything more than what was promised. It seems like this project has turned Tesla cars driving people underground rather than some sort of futuristic transport system. For Musk, the loop is just a stepping stone toward Hyperloop. Eventually, he expects these human-driven cars to be replaced with autonomous Teslas or another larger capacity vehicle, and one day, by a Hyperloop. The loop is a city-wide transportation system, whereas the Hyperloop is designed to carry people and goods between cities at a substantially greater speeds than 150 miles per hour. But not everything has been going as planned. Despite the fact that the technology addresses air resistance and friction, Hyperloop projects have faced a different kind of stumbling block: cost. Musk initially claimed that the vehicle could make the 350-mile journey between San Francisco and Los Angeles in just 35 minutes for $25 a ticket, and estimated the cost of the infrastructure to be at $6 billion. Transportation and financial experts have expressed the belief that Musk's $6 billion price tag dramatically understates the cost of developing, testing, constructing, and designing an all-new form of transportation. According to leaked financial documents in 2016, Musk's Hyperloop would cost as much as $13 billion, or $121 million per mile. Hyperloop transportation, like any other mode of transportation, carries inherent risks, and solutions for any unforeseen disasters must be still included into the system. At high speeds, even a minor earthquake or the tiniest vacuum tube breakage at high speeds would pose a considerable risk to passengers and crew. In addition to safety assurance, the Hyperloop system must offer a kind of pricing that would draw paying passengers away from current modes of transportation. So, can we expect to see Hyperloop anytime soon? Well, sort of. The next step for Hyperloop is to move past initial testing and feasibility studies and begin longer distance trials of the technology, and even more importantly, testing the service with passengers. Another challenge will be to find commercial models that work around the world. Only when all of this is done will it become clear whether the Hyperloop can actually be a reliable form of transportation. The closest possible thing that we have to a Hyperloop right now is from Virgin. Virgin Hyperloop has plans in Dubai, India, and more, as well as the Midwest, North Carolina, and Texas. But neither of these US projects will be finished until around 2030, which might sound like a long time, but airplanes took about 16 years to really get up and running, and Japan's first high-speed rail took at least a decade of development. So some 15 years for Hyperloop doesn't seem that far off. Hyperloop is a technology that, at least according to its supporters, has the potential to have a major impact. It could boost economies and trade, reduce pressure on housing, and even reduce air travel between big cities. But none of this is anywhere near proven yet. There are major business and technical hurdles that Hyperloop systems will have to overcome before they can carry passengers in comfort through sealed tubes, let alone change the world. This hypothetical higher speed type of train, dreamed up by Musk himself nearly a decade ago, is still a long way down the road in the real world, assuming it ever does come to fruition. Do you think the challenges involved in making Hyperloop a reality can be overcome? Let us know in the comments, and like the video if you enjoyed it.